Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm bringing you a new type of video to this channel, and it's going to be how to win a Scrim game. It was recommended by one of you guys, so if you have any other type of videos you want me to do, go ahead and leave it down in the comments below and I'll definitely check it out. So firstly, we're going to want to break this video up into 3 different parts: the early, the mid, and the late game. Just a side note though, if you are looking for a high kill guide, this video isn't for you. This is going to be a video on placements and how to get first place in scrim lobbies, or if you are going to be competing, also skirmish lobbies. Anyways, to start it off, for early game, you are going to want to avoid fights at all costs. So finding a place for you that is rarely contested and has a lot of mats is the best place. For mid game, you are going to want to avoid fights as well, but this is the point where you want to get into the circle. Yet there are exceptions. If you do have a shitty early game, you are going to want to third party or force a fight on someone to get mats and better loot. But I feel the main emphasis of mid game is just positioning yourself well for the late game. And as for late game, it's going to be all about positioning and looking for the picks. This is where you're going to be able to frag out and make some sick plays. Okay, now that we've gone through a general breakdown of how you win a scrim game, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a scrim game that I won. This is a 46-man lobby from the Discord server Endgame. And as you can see, I go tilted every single solo scrim game that I'm in. You don't have to go tilted, just find your own place that has a lot of mats and is rarely contested. Some tips for an early game drop is that you want to create a route, because you're going to always want to have a plan and you're always going to want to have a backup plan. Secondly, you're going to want to position yourself in a way that you're not going to be able to be pinched by any enemy, so allowing yourself to take third-party fights rather than forcing a 1v1 is the best option. I'm not going to go over my early game though, as I was lucky enough not to be contested. At tilted, I avoided all fights and just farmed the whole entire early to mid game. So we'll go directly into the mid game. Tilted is known for not having that many mats, yet for myself, my route allows me to farm a lot. I would say the biggest tip for farming in tilted is to get every single wall and furniture in buildings. As you can see, my mats aren't that bad for a tilted run. So looking at the map here, focusing on the first and second circles, you're going to want to position yourself in the middle rather than the outskirts. It's best to position yourself in the middle so that you can ready yourself up and prepare for the next late game circles. In my case, luckily, the first circle included tilted, so I was able to farm as much as I could, and the second circle is located around Greasy. So the best point here is to go into Greasy and take a house to farm mats and be ready for the third and fourth circle. Okay, so my plan here is just to take a house and then farm as much as I can to be ready for the late game circles. All I do here is farm every house I can and get the maximum amount of mats while avoiding everyone. And don't be afraid to take shots here as a third party. Luckily, I got out of tilted with great loot, so I'm not in a bad spot. I'm not forced to fight for better mats and loot. Alright, coming up to our first engagement, this guy is deciding to W key me, so I have to defend myself and make sure I take the high ground from him if I'm going to fight him. He eventually runs off, which is a good decision by him, so he isn't able to be third partied by anyone else or myself. And we just go back into positioning ourselves. Okay, so I'm basically in the clear. I've gotten the circle and I do have a good position on getting rotation kills. So now I would just take shots at people rotating into the next circle. And I'm just gonna wait here and see where the next circle goes. So I'm eventually knocked down, but do not panic. In most situations like these, the best place for late game is to have a good mindset and not to panic in certain situations, so you can land your shots and play to the best of your ability. Okay, so taking a look at the circle here, we can see that I ping the very middle of the next circle because my plan is to get as close as to the middle as possible. So some good tips to look for when rotating to the next circle is you want to go for rotation kills if you are able to see any people rotating poorly without them building walls on the sides of them or taking free shots on them. Also, you want to look to the ping that I just made and see if there are any pre-made buildings there already so that you're able to rotate to them and jump on them, maybe even hide mid or get high ground. So you see me now, I'm just looking for my opportunity to rotate. I am looking for a building. If there's already one there, I'm able to take, or if there's anyone I can get high ground off of. I know there is someone near me, so I want to make sure that I'm covered from all angles while I go and rotate. But because of glider redeploy, it is pretty easy. All you gotta do is ramp up and then jump there. Okay, so now we have entered the late game. This is where you are going to want to focus on taking rotation kills, making sure that you're rotating yourself into the next circles. These are non-stop circles, so you're going to basically want to just keep running, keep going, and then play based on reactions. Keep in mind this is my first game of the day, so I was not warmed up, and I also was undecisive, really hesitant on decisions. I messed up on building and taking shots, but I ended up taking the win, so that's all that matters. The best tips I can give you at this point are to just always make sure that you're covered up. Do not waste mats while snaking to the next circles. Be as efficient as possible, and don't be afraid to take the shots.